Welcome back to OpenLine. It's open phones. Your chance to call in with whatever you think about the presidential election. Of course, we'll have a respectful conversation. We did this last week, and it's always interesting to hear what people have to say. Now, as tonight goes on, we're also going to play some clips from the third and final presidential debate on some of the big issues: immigration, jobs in the economy, Second Amendment, some of the big things. When we did this last week, a lot of calls, no doubt. We had calls for both sides, for Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, leaned more toward Donald Trump. That would be in keeping with the polling in Tennessee. Not a ton of polling here. We are not a battleground state, but we're certainly not considered a toss-up. We are a red state, and what I have heard is about a 12-point lead for Donald Trump in this state. Now, certainly that's very different in certain counties. Davidson County is more of a blue county, and Barack Obama carried Davidson County. It would be expected Hillary Clinton would carry Davidson County. So the dynamics in this state are interesting as well. A lot of hard work going in from people on both sides in this state. But let's go to the phones. Let's go to Beverly. Hello, Beverly.
Hello.
Hi. What's on your mind?
Well, the discovery of the new emails has not really changed my mind that much. I'm still going to vote my conscience, and it's...
What is your conscience?
I'm a Democrat, so
okay.
What can I tell you?
Okay, so you're going to vote for Hillary Clinton?
I've early voted, and I've already done it.
And now, does it concern you what came out, or do you think that's not a big issue, or what do you think?
I would like to know what is in the new email. But I'm not too concerned about it now.
And how do you think the election will turn out nationally? What are your thoughts?
Well, nationally, I am hoping for Hillary to win. And the polls show that, but I don't know. It could be a toss-up. You never know. Yeah,
you just don't know. This election is so interesting. I mean, Jay, the last caller, asked about the polls. The polls indicate that Hillary Clinton is ahead. The polls also indicate that Donald Trump is moving up a little bit. The race is tightening in these final days. I hear people all the time say, I think there are people who will vote for Donald Trump who aren't telling pollsters that.
They could be, because, and I would love to have been opposed if somebody, but I've never been asked by anyone polling me for, I'd love to give my opinion if somebody had called me, but I just don't know. The whole thing with the emails and it's back and forth, but I would have liked to have heard more from both of the candidates about the issues, especially the issues of creating jobs and getting the economy, rolling. And I would have liked to have heard more about that rather than this back and forth arguing they do.
This campaign, 4 years ago we heard about Bain Capital. We heard about, how Obama had messed up some things. We heard back and forth, but there was some substance in there. This time, it has been so brutal, and just
worst debates I've ever seen.
Yeah, there's not a lot of inspiration or hope from either side that's being put out there, and not a lot of deep discussion about ideas.
It wasn't, and I would have loved to have heard more deep discussion about ideas and how they're really going to, make changes that will benefit all of the citizens, not just one group, but all of the citizens.
Well, I appreciate your call, Beverly. As the night goes on, we will play some clips from some of the debates that will give you, I guess, some sense of some of those issues. First up will be immigration. But my understanding was that Hillary Clinton was going to close the campaign, as you often do, trying to talk about hope for the future and her vision for the future. But when this new information came out about the emails, she made a decision. She was going to stay on the attack, that is what has kind of helped her the most, and so she was going to close out this campaign, which has been a long, tough, not very pretty campaign with more of the same. And so that's what we're going to see in these final days. Amazing, it's going to be over in a week. A week from tonight, we'll know who won. Will we have a concession speech? That's a whole other question. But a week from tonight, this whole long thing will be over. And I don't know if you've seen that Sheryl Crow is someone who is circulating a petition saying she wishes the election cycles were shorter. That we have spent 2 years, that Ted Cruz first announced he was running for president 2 years ago. We spent 2 years working toward what will happen next Tuesday, and that is just too long. And I think a lot of people, they're certainly tired of all of this and would like to see the conclusion. Let's go to Gail. Hello, Gail.
Hi, how are you?
Great. Go right ahead.
Yeah, I'm an ex-military person. I call myself a Vietnam era femme vet whack. And to tell the honest to goodness truth, I don't really care to have another 8 years of Clinton. Now, what would we call Mr. Clinton? Or the ex-president?
He is, I should know that. There's a name, and the first gentleman, I'm not sure.
Officer, yeah, he'll be Mr.
Right, right.
Okay, he's the first man.
Right.
And personally, I don't want a liar for the first man.
Okay.
Anybody ever thought about that?
Well, now you're electing a president, and now there are people
I know,
who would.
But the wife always comes along with the president.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the baggage of the wife always goes along with the president too. And why doesn't the baggage of the husband?
You can decide to vote however you want to vote. Now, so is that the reason?
Bringing up that because people don't address that. But they're always making comments about the first ladies that are coming into the office, you know, how they dress and this and that and everything else. Why aren't we making any comments about the first man that is coming into the presidency?
Well, I would say that's been something that's been discussed in this campaign. It's not the first time.
I mean, I just don't. I just was curious, but yeah, I mean, you know how I feel.
Right.
I don't want another. I'm also an upstate New Yorker, and I had to deal with Hillary's backlash up there.
Now, do you think Donald? All right, so you say you don't like Hillary Clinton, you don't like Bill Clinton. Do you think Donald Trump will do a good job?
I don't care for either one because I think she did a lousy job in New York.
Do you think Donald Trump will do a good job?
Donald Trump is at least blunt and to the point and honest, you know? And if people don't like someone being blunt and to the point, you know, at least he will stand up to the foreign countries that are taking over our land and purchasing all our land and put some tariffs on their taxes and not screw us over.
All right, Gail, thank you. Thank you for your call. Let's go to Alex. Hello, Alex.
Yes, hello. How you doing?
Go right ahead. What's on your mind?
Well, since Donald Trump, he's a businessman, and he didn't work with, he's not a politician, but he did pretty well for the past year, and he put, like John McCain.
Now, say that again. So, Donald Trump
put John McCain on the spot.
Yes, he did.
So, therefore, he opened a lot of doors for the VA to look into the veterans that were being neglected. So, he put a lot of people on the spot right after the bat, and they seem to be working so well for Donald Trump. And so, let's say, for him to be doing what he's doing, he actually did a lot of work. So I'll vote for him.
So you're going to vote for Donald Trump. Okay. All right,
yeah,
Alex.
I will.
All right, thank you very much. Now, what I want to do now, and see, I'm very interested to hear where people are on this. So we have 1, Hillary Clinton, 2, Donald Trump. You hear the reasons, and it's interesting where people are coming from. I want to play from the third and final debate, a discussion on immigration. And again, first caller, I think, said she wants to hear more on the issues. Here is a boiled down segment. Really, it's just their own words when they're asked the question and then what each of them has to say on immigration.
Well, first of all, she wants to give amnesty, which is a disaster and very unfair to all of the people that are waiting in line for many, many years. We need strong borders. In the audience tonight, we have 4 mothers of, I mean, these are unbelievable people that I've gotten to know over a period of years whose children have been killed, brutally killed by people that came into the country illegally. You have thousands of mothers and fathers and relatives all over the country. They're coming in illegally. Drugs are pouring in through the border. We have no country if we have no border. Hillary wants to give amnesty. She wants to have open borders. The border secure, as you know, the Border Patrol agents, 16,500 plus ICE last week endorsed me. First time they've ever endorsed a candidate. It means their job is tougher, but they know what's going on. They know it better than anybody. They want strong borders. They feel we have to have strong borders. I was up in New Hampshire the other day. The biggest complaint they have, it's with all of the problems going on in the world, many of the problems caused by Hillary Clinton and by Barack Obama, all of the problems, their single biggest problem is heroin that pours across our southern borders, just pouring and destroying their youth. It's poisoning the blood of their youth and plenty of other people. We have to have strong borders. We have to keep the drugs out of our country. Right now, we're getting the drugs, they're getting the cash. We need strong borders. We need we cannot give amnesty. Now, I want to build the wall. We need the wall. The Border Patrol, ICE, they all want the wall. We stop the drugs. We shore up the border. One of my first acts will be to get all of the drug lords, all of the bad ones. We have some bad people in this country that have to go out. We're going to get them out. We're going to secure the border. And once the border is secured, at a later date, we'll make a determination as to the rest. But we have some bad hombres here, and we're going to get them out.
Well, as he was talking, I was thinking about a young girl I met here in Las Vegas, Carla, who was very worried that her parents might be deported because she was born in this country, but they were not. They work hard. They do everything they can to give her a good life. And you're right. I don't want to rip families apart. I don't want to be sending parents away from children. I don't want to see the deportation force that Donald has talked about in action in our country. We have 11 million undocumented people. They have 4 million American citizen children, 15 million people. He said as recently as a few weeks ago in Phoenix that every undocumented person would be subject to deportation. Now, here's what that means. It means you would have to have a massive law enforcement presence, where law enforcement officers would be going school to school, home to home, business to business, rounding up people who are undocumented. And we would then have to put them on trains, on buses to get them out of our country. I think that is an idea that is not in keeping with who we are as a nation. I think it's an idea that would rip our country apart. I have been for border security for years. I voted for border security in the United States Senate. And my comprehensive immigration reform plan, of course, includes border security. But I want to put our resources where I think they're most needed, getting rid of any violent person, anybody who should be deported. We should deport them. When it comes to the wall that Donald talks about building, he went to Mexico. He had a meeting with the Mexican president. Didn't even raise it. He choked. And then got into a Twitter war because the Mexican president said, we're not paying for that wall. So I think we are both a nation of immigrants and we are a nation of laws, and that we can act accordingly. And that's why I'm introducing comprehensive immigration reform within the first 100 days with a path to citizenship.
Thank you.
So there is a little substance on the topic of immigration. You heard from each candidate in that third and final debate, a good debate moderated by Chris Wallace. So there you go. We'll throw some other things up there as the night goes on. Let's go to Reverend Fuzz. Reverend Fuzz, thank you for calling in.
Hey, listen, I couldn't believe you were doing this show. But,
yeah, I'm pretty brave, really.
With some of my friends, and they're good people who are friends who are supporting the other candidate. And they are so vehement about it. I can't, I would say to myself, I don't understand how someone could support Donald Trump, but they say, I can't believe that you're supporting Hillary Clinton. I just hope that after this election is over, that we'll go back to being friends. Because I've never seen people, I've been involved since like 40 years, I've never seen people so divided about who the candidate is. And I've never seen it where I'm just wondering why we got 300 million people and these are the best two that we come up with.
Now, I hear that every 4 years. People are like, I can't believe these are the best two. But Reverend Fuzz, I'm surprised. That's interesting that you're saying this is the most divided you've seen it, because there have been some contentious, divisive elections. You're saying this is the worst you've seen it?
This is the worst that I've seen since 1978 or something like that. And the issues that they're bringing up are basically kind of like non-issues, but people can't see through that. And after this is all over, I would say let's all get behind whoever is in office. We didn't do that with Barack Obama. We used to think that, when the people speak, that everybody supports that. But when Obama or whoever, Clinton was in office, the people who lost did not get behind the candidate. That's how we're going to make America great, not great again. We've got to follow leadership. And thank you for doing this show.
Well, thank you, Reverend Fuzz. Thank you. And that's one. There's so many things that we'll all be watching on Tuesday night. But will the country come together? Will there be a concession speech? Will the loser say, let's all get behind the new president of the United States, as has been the tradition, because this has been a hard-fought race. I don't know what the final result will be, but there is no doubt that, as Reverend Fuzz said, there is passionate support on both sides. And where does that go after this election? I think that's going to be a very important thing for our country. Why don't we take a break? If you want to call in, several lines are open. 615-737-7587, 615-737-plus. Take a break. Be back right after this.